So much has happened since I last saw you.
I don't have balance in my life, yet it's something I'm always searching for. Just like the beautifully complex characters of Cobra Kai. There are a lot of characters who give the illusion of balance, but the fact is, each of them have something they're struggling with. Cobra Kai got me thinking about the struggles that come with balancing the perception of the past and not letting guilt drag you down, but also the struggles that come with an obsession over the future and the negativity that follows redemption. Johnny's version of Cobra Kai tries to push away from the no mercy narrative while teaching us viewers that life is full of ups and downs, but we all still have time to balance out our life.
You still got one thing that's more important than anything, Johnny.
What's that?
Time.
I will be going into spoilers from all 3 seasons, so if that's a problem...
Quiet!
First things first, my name is the Lazy Critic, and I am a hypocrite. I am a judgmental witch who only recently fell in love with the Karate Kid universe. I knew Cobra Kai existed before it made its way onto Netflix. I was one of those rude, uppity psychos who thought all content on YouTube Premium was trash, without ever really giving any of its content an actual chance. I shoved aside the opportunity to watch Cobra Kai. I would see those ads and just roll my eyes because I was never a fan of the Karate Kid.
Ralph Macchio showed up.
So why in the world would I want to watch a show about a guy who's worse than Daniel LaRusso? That cocky, snotty, rude little kid. And to be honest, I was more of a fan of the next Karate Kid, but my man was obsessing over the series, and in passing, something caught my eye. Without knowing any of the context, it felt as if I could feel their emotions. I understood the hate and betrayal coming across, all without knowing anything about this show, which needed to be rectified at once. I was able to binge every single episode of Cobra Kai within a single weekend, and I was even able to squeeze in a watching of The Karate Kid 2, which is the best movie out of the whole entire franchise. Karate Kid 2 and Cobra Kai are from completely different generations, but one thing is the same. You gotta get that balance. When thinking of the past, a lot of the characters from Cobra Kai struggled with the notion of what once was. Daniel created a whole marketing ploy based around a victory from 30 years ago. But no, he doesn't stop there. As soon as he hears about the resurrection of Cobra Kai,
we're very sorry for your loss.
Give me a break.
Daniel, show a little respect.
Respect? Are you kidding me, Sue? You don't know the history here. John Kreese and Cobra Kai were the embodiment of everything this tournament stands against. And this guy, Johnny Lawrence, he was a star pupil.
He goes out of his way to shove Johnny further into the ground, as if he's some sort of moral compass of the world who's trying to punish a man for his actions from 30 years ago. It's like he's stuck in that one moment from the past, letting this idea unbalance him. However, the biggest character to struggle with their perception of the past is Johnny.
Don't you remember?
Of course I remember. People can change. Just like Cobra Kai could change.
Johnny went as far as to bring back a man who abused him in his teen years, all while putting way too much pressure on the ideology of Cobra Kai.
I'm gonna teach you the style of karate that was taught to me. Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it?
No, Sensei.
Pain does not exist in this dojo, does it?
Associating it with a time when he was top dog, acting as if this is his way back into his golden years. The whole first episode, he's practically buried in his guilt of the past, letting his defeat drag him down decades later, dwelling over all that wasn't accomplished. But through the 3 seasons, we get to see him fight to regain that balance in his life. Some episodes, we even see this being accomplished. Being a sensei, finding love, and just growing into a better man because of how determined he is to keep on fighting his guilt, fighting his past self, fighting to one day be the man we all know he can be. Multiple characters see this internal fight Johnny is facing.
I mean, you want to punish me, fine. Robbie and Miguel, they're just kids.
I know. It isn't fair. You gotta remember, you don't do the right thing because it always works out. You do the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Miguel, Carmen, Ali, and even his old high school buddies all do what they can to encourage him to keep on fighting. Johnny still has a long life ahead of him. He still has
Time.
I really like the time in season 2 that shows us Johnny's old high school buddies, reminiscing on their own struggles of finding balance after having so much to be guilty of in the past. Each of them fought their way to victory and know that Johnny can do the same. Every episode, Johnny gets a little bit closer to that balance. He may be stumbling his way to victory at times, and sometimes he doesn't even win, but he's still got time to change it. The hesitation in the first movie proves that Johnny wants to be a good person.
You have a problem with that?
He wants to encourage others to take a different direction in life and not make the same mistakes he did. Johnny may struggle to find balance, and sometimes his perception of his life may look like the negativity outweighs the positive, but he's still got time to change it, and he's still got time to make a difference in these kids' lives. Unlike his childhood mentor Kreese, he sees the negativity of what Cobra Kai once was and wants to turn it around.
This Cobra Kai was old and outdated. You refuse to move forward. What happens when we do that, Mr. Diaz?
You get stuck like cement.
Exactly.
When thinking of the future, a lot of the characters from Cobra Kai struggle with the notion of what will be.
Yeah, well, if you don't make a move, you're never gonna have a shot with her.
True, but I'll also never suffer a humiliating rejection. I'm at peace with my depression. Last thing I need to be is suicidal.
Constantly thinking about the future and what it has in store for them. Seeking redemption one day to get to a point where their victory also leads them to accomplishment, in the hopes that their future self is going to be a better version.
Never accept defeat.
Robbie, Dimitri, Aisha, and most of all Hawk know this feeling firsthand, looking towards the future in hopes that they can redeem themselves, regain what was once taken away from them. Redemption for some of these characters might seem like a good thing, and for some of them it is. But for a character like Hawk, we see him experience the good and bad side of redemption.
Look, man, I'm sorry. For all of it. Do you want to help me win this thing?
Towards the end of season 3, he gets back on the good side of redemption, further proving, with time, positive outcomes is a possibility. The old and the young will always struggle with balance.
Your daughter hit his car, you drew a dick on his face, your cousin set his car on fire and tried to beat him up with a baseball bat.
He's playing a little loose on those details.
No, that's basically what happened.
But with time, there is a possibility of becoming a better person, and seeking redemption can be a good thing. Yet, redemption also has a lot of negativity attached to it.
Well, look on the bright side, Kreese. It'll be over soon.
The perfect example of this is with John Kreese. In the Karate Kid universe, we know him to be a villain, a monster. But this last season added a whole lot of context that I didn't know I wanted. Knowing Kreese was once on the battlefields of war, everything starts to make a bit more sense as to why Kreese is the way he is, as well as letting us see his internal fights, similar to how we see Johnny's internal fights. Showing what can become of a person never finding their balance and never balancing out their perception of the future.
Right, Captain? Nah, I didn't follow your lessons. Come on! What are you waiting for? I won't make that mistake again. Kreese! No mercy.
Unlike Hawk, who was able to seek out a different, more positive redemption, Kreese's whole future is stuck in the pit of cobras. He lost something there that day. Maybe it was his last shred of humanity, or maybe it was something else. But that one moment is what shaped his whole future, turning him into a monster that we all know and hate. I like that season 3 took the time to develop this storyline because it's a good comparison as to who Hawk could have ended up being if he didn't make the choice to walk down a different path.
With Diaz out, we're going to need a new champion. Someone with no fear and no mercy.
Developing more of Kreese's character acted as a cautionary tale rather than a story to pity the villain. It's not an excuse for all the pain that he has caused people, but an example as to what could happen if there's no balance on your perception of the future. Too much of one thing led Kreese into a dangerous loop of trying to regain what was once taken away from him.
I told you. This was inevitable.
Balancing your perception of the past and balancing your perception of the future can be beneficial in the search to become a better person. Cobra Kai takes this idea, giving us options on how hard it is to find that balance. But with time, anything can happen. being a better person is always an option, which is why I love Cobra Kai and all of the stories they decided to tell. Every character is unique on their quest for life and on their quest for balance. It's so much fun to watch. There are so many jokes along the way. I cried and I laughed and I was completely captivated in the story. I started out hating the first Karate Kid, but here I am, madly in love with this show and what this universe has to offer. Season 3 compiled the past, present, and future so nicely together that any little detail that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, such as settling everything with a good old-fashioned tournament, yeah, I'll buy into that. I'll buy into anything this show throws at me. It's a great show, and I'm so interested in its themes and ideas. That's all life is anyway, just a big old fight with ups and downs, pushing your way to another victory, conquering the enemy, even when the enemy is an ideology. I appreciate you listening to my rant. I'm the Lazy Critic, and I hope you have a wonderful day.